Welcome back to Clear Talk. On today's episode, we're going to cover how to stay present and balance your work life with your family.
And then we discuss the number one cause of stress while you're building your coaching business.
And lastly, I share with you literally my number one most effective quantum leap difference of a shortcut in personal growth and explain to you why miracles actually aren't real. By the way, let us know down in the comments below what was your number one takeaway from today's show. Enjoy the show. If you're on the show, we're about to get into questions. If you want your questions answered live on the show, make sure you go to askharman.com, submit your questions so we can answer them on the show. So let's get to the first question.
Woo! Let's get it. Okay, question number one. The other week you discussed holidays and why they should feel like any other day. And I get that. How do I navigate being present with my loved ones while working and spending time? That question is from Daniela R. And Lauren has also put the content cloning system in the caption. Friends,
oh, nice. Thanks,
check
Lauren.
that out. Thanks, Lauren.
So ask me one more time.
Once more. The other week you discussed holidays and why they should feel like any other day, and I get that. How do I navigate between being present with my loved ones while working and spending time? Daniela.
So what does the first part have to do with the second part? Dude.
She's just saying I acknowledge.
Just in case no one else gets that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying holidays are bad. I'm saying your everyday should be good.
Mm-hmm.
That was deep. Because the reverse is what people assume when I say that. They go, wow, Armin's such an alien. He's saying that Christmas Day should feel the same day as May 37th. That's not even a day. No, I'm saying that every day should feel like Christmas Day. So if you think it the wrong way, you might not understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right? So if you get happier, significantly happier on a holiday, there's something fundamentally wrong with your day-to-day life. Same with vacation. If you get happier on vacation, there's something wrong with your work and personal life. You should never need an escape or a reason or an excuse to feel good. This is a lot deeper than some can handle, so I'm just trying to explain so you understand. It's like my random Monday out of a December or out of a June is just as exciting because I have made my life that way so that on Christmas Day I don't wake up happy and then sad the next day because it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up happy every day, right? And I'm human. It's not like I wake up happy every day. But even if I'm not, I'll get myself happy. So I'm saying I make the day good so that I don't feel I need a holiday to feel good. So when someone says, well, don't you like those? I'm like, yeah, but I also like every other day. You're acting as if I only like 3 weeks out of my year. All the holidays combined. No. So that's what I mean. So it doesn't mean drop the happy days to regular, normal, boring days like everything else. That's what saying means. No. It's saying increase your regular, boring days to happy days so everything's happy. So holidays blend in.
Mm.
So how do I maintain presence?
Yes.
With my family?
Yes.
How would you answer this?
And working. How would I answer this? Well, I try to exercise a different, let's say, methodology. So I've come from a very black and white, analogy, and maybe Armin can agree, of being super separated from my family. So you can rewind to me maybe 3 or 4 years ago where on most holidays or most days I wouldn't be around my family at all. If I was traveling or anything like that, I would try to keep the distance because I was like, you know what, there's just so much craziness, there's so much negativity, blah, 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 I just need to be away from it. And now I've evolved to a place where, I love and accept them as they are when we're together, and I try to, just be present as possible when we're experiencing things. So to specifically answer your question, it's about how you're going to prioritize your time on a week-to-week basis, day-to-day, etc. But work, if you're thinking as a coach, as an entrepreneur, your career is an extension of yourself at the end of the day. If you're dedicated to being a coach, not really about I wouldn't necessarily say this argument applies to if you're a 9-to-5 lawyer per se, I'm not sure. But if you're dedicated to being a coach, you're not necessarily off. You don't really turn it off. Because in your mind, you're always thinking about what you can do and what you can create and how you want to help people. So even if you're sitting with your family, like in the back of your mind, you're probably like, oh, she just said this. Like, oh, why does she do that all the time? Oh man, da 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 da. And you can get into that habit. Or you can just say, you know what? I love them. They love me. I'm here with them now. Let me experience them as they are. And then when I'm done with them, I'm going to go back to my regular day-to-day, right? If I'm going to have Christmas dinner, I'm going to have Christmas dinner with my family. Does that mean I have to have Christmas morning? Does that mean I have to stay with them all day? Does that mean I have to spend the entire weekend with them? Does that mean, like, if I have work to do that I know I need to get done, that I'm prioritizing family time over work? Not necessarily, right? What your goal is really what's going to determine the level of which pleasure in general you're going to succumb. I won't say succumb because that's not really the right word, but that you're going to allow or schedule into your life. Whether that's spending time with family or spending time with a partner or spending time with your friends, right? You have to learn how to prioritize your level of connection with them in relation to your goal and what you want to create for coaching. So if that for you is like, I'm fueled by my family, so I like to spend time with them once a week or once every 2 weeks because it just makes me feel loved and accepted and whatever that may be, sure, that could be what it looks like for you. But for other people, that could look like an hour out of the week and that's it. So Daniela, I would ask you, what does like your goals look like in relation to your family first? Because if it's I hate them, I don't like spending time with them, they're negative and like it's the worst, then I would absolutely say you need to separate from them. But if you're the opposite of that, where you're like, I do love my family, I accept them as they are, whatever, and I do want to spend time with them because I appreciate them, you're just gonna have to prioritize them at a different level based on your work. So if that is on the holidays that you're sitting there for dinner and you're present, then that's great. And in the morning you wake up and you say, hey guys, love you so much, see you next year, then that's what you need to do, right? It's really, really based on what you want to create in life and how your relationship is with them, whether it fuels you or drains you. Because if it's going to fuel you, you can prioritize it, you can schedule it in. If it's going to drain you, you should stay away from it. That's my answer. Very long-winded, but that's my answer.
It's a good answer.
Armin?
Repeat the question part again. Second part.
How do I navigate being present with my loved ones while working and being able to spend time?
Yeah. Just ask yourself a few questions. One is, are you not already? Sometimes people make up problems that don't exist.
True.
Don't ask a question about a problem that you don't have yet. Are you not already? Who said you're not being present to them, right? Number 2, problem source. It's a verb. Problem source. Source the problem. If you're not, why not? Why are you not being present as you work with your family? Why not? And then fix that problem. If you misdiagnose the problem, you run in circles with suggestions from others, never fixing anything. That'd be my answer.
Awesome. Karen just made a comment, said, I made it here live. Hey, Karen, you did.
Hey.
Nice to see you. Okay, next question. Planning my goals for the new year is getting difficult due to the constant changes in my region for the virus. Should I make them despite the changes? I want to be realistic. And that question is from Tommy T.
Say it one more time.
Planning my goals for the new year is getting difficult due to the constant changes in my region for the virus. Should I make them despite the changes? I want to be realistic.
Do my constant what?
Changes, like the constant changes in my area for coronavirus. Like different restrictions, etc., etc.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. If your goal has nothing to do with what's going on outside, then there is no reason why it should hinder you. But let's say, give an example of you want to go to a gym and you can't. Well, then work out at home. Then you say, well, I don't want to. So then you don't want the goal. If you have a threshold of willingness on your goal, you don't want the goal yet. So you hope you can get it as long as it doesn't cause you inconvenience. That's it. That's not a goal. That's a wish. I worked out for 2 months after working out for so consistently, so hard for 3 months with the inside of a gym. I made a conscious decision walking out. This can't get in the way of me and my goal. So I worked out. I learned from YouTube how to work out at home. I used a towel for bicep curls, just pulling up with it under my foot. Just isolate my bicep. Did you know you could do that? I'm gonna blow you away right now. Did you know you could also do bicep curls by doing this? You ready for this? Blow you away. Just doing that. And pushing down with your leg. Look at this. If I just push down and I do this and
Stop.
I swear to God. You resistance.
My hands are so tight. I don't know if I could do it.
I would sit there and I would legit
Oh, wow.
just sit here and push down my leg, and I get to choose the weight too. That's the crazy part. So I hold like this, the corner around here. I go up and I push down and go down. It's actually arguably better than weight because I'm controlling. You know how much pump I get from
I
this?
can see.
You see that? You know how much pump I get from that?
Wow.
I would go in the washroom and I would put my hands like this against the counter, the edge, and I'd go down really close. It would hit my bicep and I'd push up. I'd do this way, push up. I just learned. And I maintained my muscles. I didn't get bigger because you need heavy lifting for that, but I maintained my muscles.
Yeah.
I was in the best shape of my life in like May, which was 2 months after the lockdown.
Yeah.
Like, it depends on the goal, right? Like you're saying, it's hard to maintain the schedule, organize my New Year's goals, right? Like, say it one more time. I'm repeating the question multiple times because just misunderstanding the question could give you the wrong answer.
Absolutely. Planning my goals for the new year is getting difficult due to the constant changes in my region for the virus. Should I meet them?
Hold on. How old is this question?
I think it was from 2 weeks ago. From the new year.
That's why. I was going to say, why are you planning it right now? It's done.
Well, either way, it's not done.
Well, time-sensitive questions like that, we got to answer before.
They're still tell me, are you still planning? Potentially.
If you're still
are
planning,
you still setting your game plan for the new year?
You have bigger problems if you're still planning.
Potentially. No.
If you're still planning, you got bigger problems.
A New Year's Day is a fabrication. What are you ready to start today, Tommy? All right, answer the question.
But like, there is no difference. Well, this is a subjective answer, so it depends on the goal. Like I said, so whatever your goal requires, then if it requires something that is restricted, then find a different way. I genuinely believe, and I've experienced this from last year, there is no circumstance, there is no goal, there's no desire that you can't actually, if you tried really hard, find a way to do it and get it. That's what I learned from last year, at least. I've yet to find a goal that I'm like, I need this, but this, like, I can see people quitting trying 3 times, or because 3 options are off. But I don't see, I genuinely don't think there is anything anymore in the world that you could ever want that circumstantial restrictions can be greater than the creative possibility of how you can, a solution to it. So if you think hard enough, and you try to come up with ideas on how to not just plan your goals but get them, disregarding, irrespective of the coronavirus restrictions, I don't see why you couldn't be able to find it out. So it's really just more lack of like effort, like lack of just like strong effort.
Yeah.
Right. That's like the biggest problem, right? People do something an obnoxiously low amount of times and then wonder why it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I get it that no one in life gave us a handbook saying, listen, everything's going to take a shit ton of time and a lot of attempts before it works out. I get no one gave us that handbook, but who gave us the handbook that said the opposite? Who gave us the handbook that says, listen, everything should work within the first 5 tries? And if it doesn't, you should probably complain. Yeah. Who gave us that handbook?
So true.
So it's just a mismanagement of expectations. You know, mismanagement of expectations is probably one of the number 1 causes of stress, frustration, and quitting.
Fact.
In any goal.
Not even in a goal, in anything, in life, in general.
What I'm saying with goals in life.
Oh, specifically.
Like anything you want.
Sure.
Or you expect something to happen a certain way, just like a mismanagement of your expectation of it. Like not managing expectation properly about it. Because what's worse than the feeling of like hoping something, like I'll give you the definition of unhappiness. You expect something to go a certain way, it doesn't happen that way. That's the definition of unhappiness. What is the definition of happiness? You expect something to happen, it happens. Happiness. Ooh. That's why it's called happiness. Ooh. That's deep. it happens. So it's like when I think about it, like I expect my girlfriend to be this way. She ends up that way. Oh, I'm happy.
Yeah.
She doesn't end up that way. Oh, I messed up. I need a therapist. Can't wake up in the mornings. I start smoking. She doesn't comb her hair this way. I'm just saying, stupid stuff. It's like the number one cause of stress: mismanagement of expectations.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you just either properly set expectations so that it's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about your dreams. Don't get confused with the two.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the work, the requirements for your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you just released expectation. So you just did with zero attachment to how things worked out.
Yep.
Either works. You'd be much better off. You'll actually achieve more things. You'll make more money. You'll make more money. Imagine I expected this show to go viral. Man, like, I'd be so pissed right now.
Be pissed.
But I specifically sound like, no, like Gary's like, I did this for 7 years before someone even knew my name, how to say my name, last name right. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, so the first year's practice. See, my expectation was set properly for the show.
First year, he said it all the time. First year's practice. First year's
I don't even care.
Yeah.
Even with my business. We launched an online program this year. We made hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales, but like, I'm like, yeah, we're just starting. Like, it's just practice.
Yeah.
We still don't know what we're doing. Like with selling it, I don't care.
Okay.
That's honest truth. It's honest truth. I'm still practicing. I'm 5 years into entrepreneurship as a coach.
Yeah.
I'm 5 years into coaching. I don't think I figured it out yet. No, if anyone says they figured it out, they're lying to you. You never figure it out. It's never an end. So to me, I'm like, yeah, my expectations set properly. I just always am practicing.
Yeah.
But my practice with zero expectation does better than the people with very little practice and so much expectation. That's really my answer. If
Okay, cool.
your desire is strong enough, you'll find a way.
Awesome. Well, you know how I would ask you, and I want to piggyback off of Tommy's question.
We got a lot of comments too.
We do. So Karen says Armin is brilliant.
Karen, you're beautiful.
And Jessica says, so nice to catch this and see both of you for a moment. How are you? I miss this. Jessica, we miss you. How are you? Happy New Year. Good to hear from you. But yeah, I'm going to piggyback Tommy T's question here. And, you know, bring up a semi-question of my own. Because a lot of people, I've been finding a lot of the conversation in the past, or like from 2020 to 2021, is, you know, how there's a lot of expectations in general, right? People are like, for example, I think it was Diddy who tweeted that, you know, if last year didn't bring the hustler out of you, then you don't have it. And that incited a lot of conversation, like, well, you know, some people were just focused on surviving last year, not necessarily hustling, right? So it boils down to, you know, what's your goal, what's your expectations, etc. So Armin, I would ask you, for people who are working towards goals for this year, what's something that they can hold on to that is definite despite all the uncertainty, let's say, of the virus?
External uncertainty does not determine internal uncertainty.
Cool. So the answer would be certain, like, to become
When you
certain
jump out of a
inside,
plane-
external, what?
When you jump out of a plane, how certain are you about how things are going to go?
Not
Zero,
at all.
right? Right? Zero.
Yeah.
I don't know if a pigeon is going to come fly into my face.
Can you imagine?
I don't know if my parachute is going to open.
Yeah.
I don't know if I get a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it starts raining on the way down. No idea. Zero uncertainty when you jump out of a plane. Why do people do it time and time again, though? Because the outside uncertainty of what things could happen does not determine the inside. Person has internal certainty that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens outside. It has nothing to do with direct correlation to how you decide to feel certain about things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll add, though, you can't do that unless you have faith. Unless you believe things will happen for you in a good way. Doesn't matter what's happening outside.
Yeah.
You always be afraid. So you can't mix up the outside with the inside. I had a student ask me, you know, what if I make a lot of money and I turn into a bad person? I remember saying, so you measure the type of person you are by how much money you have. You think somehow that because there's an extra digit in your account, your personality would change overnight.
Yeah.
How do you correlate the two? How do you make that distinction? And of course, like everything else, inaccurate thought. Well, I see other people who have money that are like this, but they could also have bad upbringing, bad family, bad days. What if it has nothing to do with the money? How'd you diagnose to make that assumption a real fact? Well, I didn't. I'm like, exactly. This is the number one problem with people's minds, is that they allow any influence to go inside, they make up conclusions about it, and that becomes their life. There's zero filter to it, zero qualifying process to it. Anyone could plant the seed in their mind and they believe it now. He saw 4 people who made a lot of money become assholes. Okay. What did those 4 people have to do with you? What does money have to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
What if they were assholes anyways?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the opposite true? What if I stay poor and I'm an asshole? Because they were poor and they were an asshole. They're still an asshole. The money didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I disagree. I go, well, it's fine, but you're not in my program to disagree. You're here to learn. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't pay thousands of dollars to be in programs to disagree with the person who's doing it right. I don't. I don't know. That's how my personal I don't do that. That'd be a waste of my money. Because of me, I'm the problem. If I'm unwilling to, one is being willing to learn. Being willing to be like, I want to learn more things because I don't know everything. But the other one's willing to change. So when you learn the thing and it goes against your current belief system, are you willing to change that? And if you're unwilling, you'll stay where you're at.
Yeah.
You're not coachable. You're not teachable.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't say that to him, but I said it more kindly, which is, yeah, you could disagree, but like, I'm just asking you to think about what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And then also think about this, like, if someone has what you want and they think otherwise than you should probably stop thinking what you're thinking and think the way they think. Like, what else is mentorship?
Yeah.
So I was just telling him, like, you're measuring, like, your money by who you are, and the opposite. He goes, well, I disagree because if I was a person who would make that much money, I would have that much money now. And I gave the most, in my opinion, one of the most incredible analogies I've ever given for the perfect lesson. I said, so let me ask you something. You're saying that if you were the person, that you would have the money right now. So if you don't have the money, it means you're not the person.
Yeah.
I'm like, but what about the logical concept of time? What about delay?
Yeah.
You're not factoring in delay in you doing something. You could already be the person, but it takes time for the thing to show up. He goes, well, like I say, he said, I disagree. I said, so isn't the opposite true? That means you're just not the person now then.
Mm-hmm.
That means that when you have the money, you'll be the person. Yeah. So let me ask you this. You plant the seed in your garden. You come back the next day. It's not there. Are you not a farmer? When I said that, he was like, oh. I'm like, let me get this straight. So I plant crops. I have to wait a minimum of 3 months before I think I'm a farmer now. How stupid would that be?
Yeah.
Like, so your way of looking at yourself is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you having more money in your account doesn't make you something different. It should technically make nothing different. Some of you go, it amplifies you too. Why? Why would it amplify you even? Why even amplify you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. Why does it even affect you? Get what I mean?
Yeah.
If I have one couch in my place, where I have tons of furniture, should I change who I am now? It's just things that it's around me.
Yeah.
Money is no different. Now the problem is that because we measure ourselves by how much money we have, that amplification principle works.
Yeah.
Because of our stupidity, we'll make more money, and because we believe that means something,
Yeah.
now we go and do something more or different.
Yeah.
But it's the real problem is believing that even matters, not that it happened.
Yeah.
My team, in our first time, every time actually we make a lot of money. We've had our 4-figure days. We've had our 5-figure days. I've had even 6-figure days.
And we've
right?
also had
Yeah, and 0 days too.
0
yeah,
days.
100%. We have more 0 days than 5,000, 20,000. I've had 5,000 hour day, 10,000, 20,000 hour day,
Yeah.
50,000 hour months, 100,000 hour months. But when I say month, like I mean I made that 100 in a weekend. So really the bulk of it came in 24 hours. My point is, my team will they'll come and ask. He might have come up to me like, you just made like whatever 10 grand today or something. How do you feel? I'm like, no different. He goes, I don't understand. But you just, don't you feel better a little bit? I'm like, no. I already felt good.
Yeah.
And it's like so hard for him to conceive. Back in the time, I think now he gets it. But it's like he expects my external reality to fluctuate my inside. So I have to give credit to Sadhguru for this, because I watched him a lot when I was coming out of depression. And Sadhguru says you should never give the privilege of how you feel inside and what goes on with you inside to anything outside of you. I'm like, man, that's a good way to look at it. Because here's the problem, right? If I get excited when I make 10 grand in a day, I'll get really sad when I don't. And so when you attach so much value and power to a good thing outside of you,
Yep.
you give the equal amount of power and vulnerability to the bad thing. We've had, like I said, 5 and 6 figure months. We've also had 0 months in the middle of it. It's like someone would quit that month, right? They would go get a therapist. They're like, I messed up now.
Yeah.
Because the very problem is that you're measuring your character, your personhood with things. So I told this person, I said, you should be no different at 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand a month versus now. But I disagree. I'm like, listen, I didn't say you won't have more skills.
Yeah.
I said the person you are shouldn't change. That skill level matters. That's different than the personality.
Mm-hmm.
You're afraid that your personality would change. Your character will change.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a bad person. Suddenly, at 30 grand threshold, morality leaves the body. What the hell does that even mean?
Assholism sets in.
Yeah, like, that's not a fact.
Yeah.
It's a made-up assumption, and because you're believing it, you're now endowing your own body to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the same person in skill set will be this person you are will make that. No, you got to be better at something. Yes, especially money. Money's just a skill. Like you gotta once you learn how to make it, you never go poor again. Like it's just the dumbest thing ever to think like it's so hard. It's so easy. Once you learn the skill that makes money, it's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah.
But who you are as a person has nothing to do with your skills. Your skills are. It's like this. It's the difference between. You ready for this? It's the difference between I'm Persian. Right? What's your background? Like the country?
Ghana.
Ghana. Okay. You're
You
Ghanaian.
don't know that?
I don't want to say black. It's just like it's. I'm gonna be more specific.
you don't know
I'm
from
Iranian. You're Ghana.
Yeah.
No, I know you are, but like.
Go ahead. I'm just being argumentative.
I'm Persian. She's Ghanaian, right?
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yep.
It's a part of who we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's a part of like.
Cultural implications,
Yeah.
background.
Logistically too, though. Like this is our skin color difference, our background, our accent. Okay.
Yeah.
How much money we have doesn't make her more Ghanaian or me more Persian. Right?
That's true.
Does it make my... These are like... This is my arms, right? I have arms.
Uh-huh.
It's a part of my body.
Yeah.
If I have 10 times more money, does my arms grow? That's how ridiculous it sounds to me when you say like your personality is going to change. It amplifies. You make me more... No.
Yeah.
It's only because you believe that you do that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question. I'll take you even deeper in the rabbit hole. If I believe anything and just do it now, does it make it a thing? I believe if you make $100,000 in a month, you have to start chanting at night and you float when you sleep. If I just make myself believe this, let me say something more realistic than something stupid.
Yeah, come on.
If I hit $100,000 a month and to keep doing that, I have to now pray to a specific God. I'm just making this up.
Sure.
Okay, well, I would tell you that you'd be like, that's not true. But for me, if it's true, guess what? Now because I've primed my mind to do this.
Yeah.
So now I'll believe I'll lose the money
Absolutely.
if I don't. Because I believe it.
Very true. Yeah.
It's just called superstition. And even if he's watching, the person I'm talking about, I know he knows what I'm talking about. What I've said on the coaching calls, it's also superstition. You're giving some supernatural power to some exterior thing. It's all bullshit. So.
Love that. Love that. Okay. So Jessica said, I'm amazing. Thanks. Happy New Year to you. And Wayne says, good thought-provoking discussion.
Wayne who?
Wayne Kuhn.
Oh.
Kuhn? Kuhn.
Khan. It's probably Khan.
K-U-H-N?
Yeah, I think it's Khan. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
What's going on, man? Thanks for joining the show.
Okay, next question. Was asked a couple of weeks ago. Do you need $1 million to be a millionaire, or would a check suffice? That question is from Y Greenage.
No. Logistically, being a millionaire means your net worth, after you subtract liabilities from your assets, what is left on paper is over $1 million. That makes you a millionaire. The moment that number is $2 million, that makes you a multi-millionaire.
That's it?
That's logistically.
$1 million, now you're multi?
Yeah, because you have two.
You have more than one.
Wow.
That's the only difference.
I feel like
But see,
multi
now,
is like
from
5
two,
and-
no, from like 2 to like beyond is just all multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Technically, someone making $100 million and $50 million and $2 million is all the same.
Still multi, yeah.
Multi-millionaire. Right? So on a logistical level, that's the only time you're actually a millionaire. Right? Like, I've sold over $1 million of coaching in years. I'm not a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
I sold over $1 million. Some people will do that and say I'm a millionaire.
Yep.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Right? So that's one form of measurement, which is on paper, you're worth over $1 million. Now, that's not a sexy thing. It depends, right? I'll give you context. An entrepreneur who's a millionaire means they are worth more than $1 million because of a business asset they built.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you something about them as a person. You go,
Yeah.
man, that's probably hard because it's not easy to go to $1 million with a business.
Mm-hmm.
But someone could also go buy 2 houses worth $500,000 in asset, and now they're worth $1 million.
Yeah.
But if they're a millionaire because they have real estate assets, it also tells you about them.
Mm-hmm.
You go, okay, cool. You just know how to use money.
Yeah.
See, saying you're a millionaire doesn't put you in the same category as every other millionaire. No.
Absolutely.
So I respect like an entrepreneurial millionaire way more than any type of other millionaire. Because every type of other millionaire is just a matter of flipping money, doing this, maybe an investor. But then again, my respect goes to an entrepreneur because that means they built their way to $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
That means they had to sell
$1 million
over
worth.
1.5
Yes.
or $2 million.
Worth of product.
And then subtract expense, subtract tax, subtract everything, and still be left with $1 million. That is impressive to me, right? So logistically, it's just on paper. To claim the title of millionaire, like in tax bracket, you'd be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, perception is a whole nother thing, which is why I know why he's asking this. Right, I know why he's asking this. His name's why. I know why you're asking this why. So, in a check suffice, I don't even get that part.
He's just saying, or would it, like, as long as it's on a check, does that make it?
I don't know how a check matters at all in this at all. So if someone writes me a millionaire, no. So if someone writes me $1 million check for something, subtract fees, subtract tax, subtract expense for that million, whatever you did to make it, you're probably left with like 600,000-700,000. So you're not a millionaire, no. So the answer is no. But again, it is on paper asset, right? Oftentimes you have to make over $1.5 million
Yeah.
to say you're a millionaire, because if you just calculate plus asset, right? But anyways, there's I think being a millionaire is overrated. I think it's over, like, it's blown out of proportion. It's not as special. Like, and then the next measurement is in what time frame, right? If it took you 7 years to buy real estate to be worth $1 million, that's not that impressive. You just bought a bunch of $200,000 houses. 7 years later, on paper, you have 7 houses that now you're worth $1 million. So what?
Yeah.
My personal opinion, most impressive millionaire idea is a business. Yeah, because a business takes a lot of work. So if you are worth over $1 million in cash, equity, or asset, right? I'm like, you built something.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's why I don't look at someone who's a millionaire at, like, I don't care. I actually do not care. Let me just be more frank. I don't care if you have money. I don't care how much it is. I actually don't give a shit at all. I never, like, the moment I know they have a lot of money, I'm like, okay, cool. Now, if I know they have a very big business and they have that money from that, I'll have this much more respect. Because more so, I'm like, yo, I could learn something from them. Yeah, and it's not an ego thing. I'm just like, I don't look up to people.
That's
Nor
just
should
not.
you.
That's just not your. That's not your. Your caliber of respect. It doesn't change who they are as a person. You don't say they're a millionaire, therefore I must.
Let me put it
like
this way:
them,
if I
etc.
met Jeff Bezos right now,
Yeah.
let me put it this way: I watched a lot of his interviews. I love the guy; he has a great personality.
Yeah.
If I met him right now, the only thing different between a normal person and him that I would do differently when I meet him is I would congratulate him on building such an
phenomenal
impactful business.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's a $1 trillion man now
Something like
means
that.
nothing.
Yeah.
What the hell does that have to do with anything? But see, how they do that is more impressive. That's why it matters how. Right? So I don't. Someone says I'm a trader, make $1 million a year. I don't care. Well, although I'll respect the level of discipline you must have to sit there and look at a screen for X amount of hours a day until you that tells me about you. You have emotional discipline, right? Business, you have good work ethic, and you're smart.
Yeah.
Because you can't be stupid and build a good business. You can't. You have to be very smart. You have to learn how to use the brain. So that's what more, to me, it's like, who is the person? Like, how are they? And here's the thing. If I met Jeff Bezos, I'll make it even deeper for you. And he was a dick. Not only will I not look at him any different than any other person, I would be like, you don't even, I don't want to talk to you. It doesn't matter what they have. Not to me, at least. He goes, yeah. I met Bob Proctor once. I don't mean to do this to him, but I met him
Proctor
once.
too. Just joking.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, back then I was like, oh,
Oh yeah, way back then.
I remember walking up to him. This is still my last impression of him. Yeah. I watched his stuff today.
Yeah.
I still watch his stuff. I'm like, yo, it's really good.
Yeah.
But I remember walking up to him. And I was like hoping he'd be this genuine, I'm like, Mr. Proctor, thank you so much for your speech. And he goes, yeah. You just stood there. I'm like, can I get a picture? He gave me no, nothing.
Yeah.
And I remember walking around, I'm like, wow, what a cold, boring person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care who you are anymore. You are such, your personhood. Now I get why he does it. Maybe he's just very defensive with his mind, sure. But I'm just saying, I walk around, I'm like, yeah, okay. You're just, then now I watch his videos, I'm like, yeah, whatever. You just did this longer.
Yep.
Put some people in a room, teach them, whatever. So the faster you get to that perspective of people that you think you look up to, the better. When you can see someone that other people go, wow, and you go, yeah, okay, so it's not condescending, screw this guy. No, I'm saying you're not in awe. You're just yeah, it's sure, you did it.
They're human, I'm a human.
The moment you get yourself to that point, you've officially grown as a person. You've grown bigger. Because the bigger you grow, you realize no one's special.
Yeah.
Special is a word beginners use. I hate to say it like this, but poor people would use this word. It's true, because I used to use it. I think Tony Robbins is superhuman. Then I went and I grew bigger. My self-image grew. I'm like, no, Tony's just been doing this way longer than anyone else, never quit, has good work ethic, and developed himself.
Yeah.
So I could be surpassed him or him if I just did the exact same things he did. When I realized that, I'm like, oh, so I don't have to worship you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was actually having this conversation with myself this weekend. In my head.
With yourself?
Yeah.
We're going to need to get you a therapist.
This is Isaiah's voice. This is Isaiah's voice, guys.
Because I was thinking about it. A lot of people look up to Pat Patrick or Curtis Jackson.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. I'm like, it's crazy how people look up to them, but maybe 5 years ago they were just like me, trying to figure it out, normal person, and now they were able to actually grow themselves to this person that people look up to or people admire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's insane. I'm like, how do you do that? Because you also, I guess it goes from a conversation that you did, and maybe I was editing it, and it came back to me. You also said that, how could I be that person? But a lot of people are looking up to, Bob Proctor, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. And then when you take it in, he's just a normal person that just went on a journey.
That's it.
Because he was just like us, trying to figure it out.
Put it this way.
Why would I be at awe or something?
If you can make sense of how a person is the way they are, you realize there's nothing supernatural about it.
Yeah.
Make sense of it.
Yeah.
But the only reason why you can't make sense of why someone is so successful is because you're ignorant.
Yeah.
So your ignorance creates this worship gap between you and people that are doing more than you. Not better than you, doing more than you, because they are doing more than you.
Yeah.
So the only respect I have for entrepreneurs who have more money than me or have been in it longer is that they're doing more than me.
Yeah.
So I'm
They're
like, yeah.
doing or have done more than I have done.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's just, we're all on one line called life.
Mm-hmm.
Just some people are further ahead. Some people are back ahead. So the ones that don't realize they're on a line and it's the same line, that think like the people ahead of them are on a whole other planet, they worship those people. And then they stay there. They stay poor and small, and they keep thinking all these people are, oh, wow, you do it. Like, you know the most uncomfortable thing? It used to bother me. I don't let it affect me now, but it still makes me uncomfortable. The most uncomfortable comment I get from people is when they try to praise me as if I've done something they cannot do. It bothers me. Like, I don't let it bother me, but when I say that, I mean, like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So the most uncomfortable thing is when someone tries to worship me, you know, and I'm like, stop. No. I'm not your God. I'm not a God. I'm like you. It's like you are just so ignorant to how powerful you are. You think that I'm some super being.
Yeah.
See, like, you know, like, it's just the most uncomfortable thing when they go, wow, look at how you speak. I'm like, you know how shit I spoke the first time?
Yeah.
What do you think? I came out of my mom's thing with a microphone in my hand?
Nice to meet you guys. I'm Armin Shafi.
My name's Armin Shafi. I want to give a huge shout out to the doctor who brought me out.
Just kidding. My name's Armin.
6-step introduction, Essa. 6-step intro. Pause. How many of you here are excited that I just showed up?
Welcome to the world.
2 questions, 2 qualified enrolling questions. How many of you believe I'm about to cry? Now, before I begin with this talk, my name's Armin Shafi. Welcome to my labor. What is it called? To my, when you give birth? Labor.
Well, your
Conception?
mom would be in labor.
Yeah, but what is it called? The whole episode is called something.
It's giving birth. It's
It's not conception, conceive, no.
It's
birth.
giving birth.
Whatever. Welcome to my birthday. I want to give a huge shout out to the doctors and nurses who made this happen.
Yep.
It's just like an event.
Yeah.
But before we get into today, I just wanted to share quickly where I just came from. So I was just hanging out with Jesus. Imagine.
Like, you can understand why people say that. Maybe some people are just...
It's labor.
They start doing something,
Labor.
they're just good at
Well, your
it.
mom's labor. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks,
Right?
Lauren.
Some people are just gifted with singing.
They're not.
You have to work towards
No one's
it.
gifted with anything. Listen, do you want to get yourself out of idolization and like grow here's a secret. I'll give you a little shortcut to growth. I'll give you a real shortcut. There are shortcuts in life. There
Okay.
are. And some of them are positive because
Sure.
it just means you're being smarter instead of stupid
Yeah.
and trying to take the long way.
Go ahead.
Like me trying to bust my head through the wall to get to the other room instead of using the door, that's called stupidity.
Yeah.
But the door's a shortcut.
Sure. Yeah.
So let me give you a positive shortcut. Positive shortcut to growing yourself the fastest. It's like a little hack, okay? Right now, accept the belief I'm about to give you. There is no such thing as talent. You guys want to have a secret shortcut to growing yourself, say you feel more confident in your abilities and you feel less inferior to people? Right now, accept the idea, even if it doesn't make sense to you, just accept the idea, I'll explain to you. There's no such thing as talent. Nobody is gifted. Nobody.
Crazy.
That's a huge, like, statement.
Yeah, it's a huge statement. It'll piss people off. You know who will piss off, though? It'll piss off the ones who have built an identity around the talent because everyone told them. So now they're like, oh, my love and recognition and peace of mind is attached to what people think of me, and I have to be the singer because I was born this way. The only other people that get offended is the ones who idolize people who have talents as an excuse to not go develop it themselves. So they're like, no, Armin, don't say that, because if I have to believe that, that means they're no different, which means I'm just lazy. Too bad. Too bad. Truth. I didn't make the truth. Okay? I'm also not saying I'm saying the truth. I'm just saying this is what I've developed. It's what I realized is my truth. It might be true for you, but just think about it. Can we and anyone spot a baby in history that was born with documented super abilities or talents? Can you find me one baby? I mean, if we found it by now, it would be in history, right? We would all know about it.
Jesus.
No. That baby still came out kicking and crying. Right? You actually watched Jesus. I watched the movies, I heard the stories. I grew up.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Christian family, yeah.
What did he do? Even Jesus is a good example. What did he do?
You observe them.
Until 33 years old,
True.
he just sat at the feet of the wise men or whoever they were and asked questions.
Mm-hmm.
He developed himself into Jesus. He wasn't born that way. Now here's the thing, if no one knows the journey of how he became that way, they're going to now replace the entire logical journey of what happened with a legend or myth. Wow. Legend says that he came out with the beard. And the hair. He turned his milk into wine. Like, no! He did it.
Yeah.
So, can anybody tell me a baby that was recorded in history that came out initially with some supernatural above any other baby? No. So what does that prove us? Logical. Every baby's born the exact same way. With respect to the formalities and stuff like that. I'm saying they're born exactly the same. Blank. Absolute nothingness. So what is the only changing variable if every baby comes out relatively the same, with the same kind of organ, same thing? Okay. The only changing variable is the environment in which they were born.
Mm-hmm.
That sums up the family,
Yep.
the mother that they're in,
Yep.
and the home that they go to grow up in.
Yeah.
Within that environment, the only changing variable that determines how they grow up is the impressions they put to that child's mind.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe me. 99% of the time, this is true. 1% of the time is off. And I'm actually one of those 1%. What I'm about to say. 99% of the time, you find a person who's good at something, you can link it back to someone in their family who does it. 99% of the time. 1% is off where the child finds no rapport at home, goes out into the world, and models someone in the world. So you can link it back to where they were inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's a great hockey player. Oh, what do you do? How long have you been playing hockey? Since I was born. They say that.
Yeah.
No, that means since you were like 6 and you could walk with skates on, and your dad, because he loves hockey, watches it, played it, put you in class.
Yeah.
What about a great singer or someone that just starts drawing out of nowhere and he's just great at it?
No, there's no such thing. The impressions on the baby's mind. My ex-girlfriend, artist, her kids sucked at drawing. I know because I started dating them when they were 2, just turning 2. So they were like literally still toddlers. And I left when they were just turning 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw them grow up in like the relatively one of the biggest parts of a child's growth phase, which is 0 to 6.
Yeah.
They went from like literally like, right, like not knowing anything to like they were drawing inside of lines. Now, 5 years from now, someone will meet them next to the kid who didn't do that because their mom didn't do that growing up. They're gonna be like, wow, this kid's talented. Look how good he draws. Stop it! You're making shit up.
Mm-hmm.
You are making, like, if you're a person who does it, like, wow, you're so you are perpetuating the false idea that there is such a thing. Like, it's criminal in my eyes. Because what do? You create insecurity in other people who don't have it. That's all you do. You promote insecurity in people that compare themselves to other people that had years. It is a huge problem with humanity, man. That was my major problem growing up. I would compare myself.
Yeah.
And because my upbringing wasn't that fancy, I didn't grow up with Tony Stark as a dad. You know, like, I grew up like an idiot, insecure,
Yeah.
and overweight. So, like, and that was my environment at home. Literally idiot, insecure, overweight. Like, it was pretty much love my family, but, like, you know, that's the environment.
Yeah.
So I grew up now, and I would compare myself to, like, my friend whose dad and mom were way more established than mine. And his dad was able to play basketball with him growing up, and his mom could afford to put him in basketball camp. So by the time me and him go to grade 9, basketball tryouts, and he crushes me, I'm thinking one of two things. I'm shit, or he's talented.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's such an interesting way.
And then what do? I create insecurity in me now.
Yeah.
But why is the idea of comparison even still around? Because the fucking people in the world that believe the shit teach the kids that.
Wow.
Because they do it by example.
I never had that belief though. Like the only thing that I guess I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. What I believed was that you could, if you want to sing, you could teach yourself.
You could learn.
anything.
Yes.
Like example, Ed Sheeran did not know how to sing. He taught himself how to sing. So I know if
That's
I
it.
want to become an actor, I could teach myself. But
Exactly.
I never knew. I thought like people could actually be just talented. Like you're just a great.
But
Like,
what I'm trying to say is what we call talented
Oh,
is just way more time practicing it.
wow.
You want a good book? And by the way, this isn't even my opinion.
Yeah. Got a couple questions here while you're saying this.
Go read
Lauren-
the talent code.
Yeah.
The talent code, great book, breaks down what talent is chemically.
Yeah.
And it is a chemical that is developed called, I'm not going to say it. I thought of another name. It starts with the Y in it. I haven't read it since like 4 years ago, but I still remember the concept and I remember what I learned from it. The talent code is that there is a chemical developed when practice happens.
Mm-hmm.
The more you practice, you develop more of that nerve chemical inside of you. Thus, you become more natural at it. Thus, you become talented. And it goes, the only people that are talented are the ones who've been doing it longer from a young age.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And I remember reading that, I'm like, so you can develop talent. Like, that book literally scientifically proves you can develop talent, which means there's nothing on this planet you cannot do. Now, there is logical requirements. If I am stubby short, I'll probably do worse or have a harder time in basketball than the guy who's tall. I'm not saying those things don't matter, but that has nothing to do with talent at that point. Because there are some point guards that crush it, and they're less than 6 feet.
Absolutely.
So you're not talking about body genetics.
I'm not.
Like LeBron had.
That is an external circumstantial thing.
Oh, okay.
It's an external. Now, if I'm 55, I might have a hard time competing with a 30-year-old in soccer. I'm not saying these stones; those are logical variables. But what I'm saying is the very act of being good at something to the point where you think you're talented or because no one. Let me share some wisdom with you. Okay, learn this from my mentor. He goes, in life there is cause and there is effect. And anytime someone cannot understand the cause of something, they call it a miracle.
Wow.
And when I remember learning that, I'm like, that just explained my entire upbringing and what messed me up. When I could not explain how something had happened, I made it beyond my control.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot explain how a 7-year-old can play piano better than a 45-year-old. I say this person was gifted. It's a miracle.
Wow.
When I really don't know that the mother probably played piano to soothe herself as he was in the womb. So she biologically engineered the child's subconscious mind to want to play piano. Comes out, watches the mother every day playing piano. And then by 3 years old, it's hitting the thing. And then by 7, they're like playing Mozart.
Yes.
It is an unfair way of looking at people. Like I said, there's the ethical shortcut to personal development is to just stop believing anyone is special. I'm not talking about not seeing the uniqueness of a person. Don't make this controversial. What I'm talking about is the very essence. There's an intelligence behind this. Understanding no person is better than you is what I'm trying to say. My life-changing moment 5 years ago was when I was sitting in Tony Robbins' seminar, seeing him do all this, and all he did was share the story of how he started. And the very story of how he started was he was a 19-year-old kid, just like I was, who had no experience. All he had was motivation and time. And he's like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And just by hearing his story, going, well, if he did that and he's here today, that means I could do the same thing, let alone he didn't have someone like him teaching him now. So I'm like, I have an advantage. I'm like, oh, so he was where I was and he has what I want. Okay, this is possible. And the moment I accepted the idea, he's literally just been doing this longer than me. And in time, I will do just as good or better. My entire life shifted because I eliminated all made-up borders and barriers in my mind between me and what I want. All limiting beliefs is what we call them, limiting beliefs, which is all these boundaries you set on yourself that make up things to make yourself feel like you can't do something. Mm-hmm. It was all gone. I walked out feeling so clear. I'm like, oh. Like life is literally whatever you make it.
That is so deep what you're saying, because it could also go, because you have to end the show, like, it could also go to the point where someone starts something, like let's just say I started sales and another person started sales. For some unknown reason, I'm having such a hard time. And another person just finds it so like smooth, like, you know, you're such a great talker, and I'm like, this is not for me.
It's because you're comparing.
Exactly. And it could be like that, but I don't know what that person went through. I don't know what that person did.
It even
so deep.
It even goes as deep as this. Like, imagine everyone's just a combination of different things, like chemicals.
Yeah.
And you need the right combination to be good at something. It's like they could have not even like their parents may have not given them sales training growing up. The guy you're comparing yourself to, but maybe just naturally how his life grew. He was put in scenarios where he had to develop certain type of skills to survive, and that skill serves in selling. But you didn't develop that skill.
All of that, like, I get it.
You didn't develop that skill.
Yep.
And so now you think, man. So it's like this notion, this idea. It's a philosophy of life. Now I'm not saying I have any right to teach you how a philosophy of living. I haven't lived enough of it yet. Maybe I never will. Maybe I'm 80 years old. I still haven't lived enough life to tell you something. But I will just share with you along the way so maybe you could benefit. My philosophy of living is I never categorically fit things into things, thinking they're outside of my reach. It's like, this is really, let me fucking blow some of you away. Even I look at like love this way. Some of you are like, I want to find my love. I want to, the right one has to come, like.
My soulmate.
Yeah, like.
My life partner.
You think this, eh? And
twin
I'm gonna lie, on a deep level, I kind of have a bit of that. I still think there is easier people to be with than, I don't think it's a perfect. But I do think, based on heredity and how they grew up, maybe I can match with someone faster than someone else.
Sure.
But notice what I just said. I can work with someone easier than someone else. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna work though.
Absolutely.
If I build a relationship with someone. Look how deep this goes. I personally do not think there is like a hit or miss. Like, I think, this is actually what I believe. This is really weird for some of you, probably new idea. I know, and please understand the genuine intention behind what I say. Because some of you don't, like, that you're not going to get why I'm saying this. You're just like, wow, that's really arrogant.
I think I know what you're saying, and I feel the same way.
Tell me what you think I'm going to say.
That no matter, like, that no matter who you end up with, or who your partner is at the end of the day, that you're gonna learn to love them and be with them, and you can still have a happy and successful life.
Exactly.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that there is a soulmate. There isn't only one person.
And so I'll take it this far. This is exactly what I was gonna say. I'll take it this far.
I feel the same way.
I know. It's not a matter of if I can fall in love with someone or make them fall in love with me. I know I can do it to anyone.
Yeah.
So now the game of my life becomes, who am I going to choose?
Who's the one?
So not only am I not waiting for someone to be the one, I'm like actively looking to be like, who do I want to make my one?
Yes.
This, so far from the life I've lived, this to me has become the highest level of thinking, of approach to life, which is like, you can do anything. Question's what now?
Yep.
So I know any girl I choose to go after, with enough persistence and enough adjustability and personality and an effort, I can get them.
Yep.
There is no woman I think I don't get. Like, example, it's harder for some. Like, when I went to go out with my friends, like, you'll find a woman who really thinks they're attractive and confident, and you'll find someone that's probably very mediocrely attractive and thinks they're mediocrely confident. The only difference, I know that one's going to take a little more time probably. Only because they have more things you got to work through. But there is no thing in my mind that says, I can't have that one. I can't.
Oh, I definitely understand that.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
Now here, let me go deeper though. Now the question becomes like, who do I want to exert the effort for? Now, when you mature, you're not just looking at look. Because the moment they open their mouth, you might not like them anymore. And I've had them many times. I'm like, you're so beautiful. Come on, talk to them 5 minutes. I'm like, I can't imagine not only dating you, but having a conversation with you in a lineup in Starbucks. So, no. And you go, right? And so now maturity gets you to judge differently of what you want. Because it's not just look anymore, right?
Yep.
So now it's like, you're willing to have like, not the perfect looking person, to your opinion. Maybe a little less. Like, some things are off. As everyone has like some form of flaw in their eyes about someone else. It's not that it's a flaw, but it's like, it's not what you're into. But you want to compromise that. It's not even compromise. You're like, I'm cool with that, but like, your personality's great though. So I'll be with you. So it's like, now it's a matter of, and that's why dating is so, I don't know how anybody chooses to marry someone without dating. I have no idea. So you got to go try things. Right? Not necessarily saying you have to have sex with each one. Maybe that's against your belief. Sure. But at least date them. Like, go out with them. Talk to them. Do things with them. Do things like life things with them. See how it goes. Because you're really just trying to find the right combination to fit. The moment it fits almost, because nothing ever fits perfectly. Even if it does, there's something hidden underneath they're not showing you, and like later on it shows.
Okay, I get it.
Let me. The first year's gonna be great. Next year, hell breaks loose. So where did this come from? So it's like there is no perfect. There is no perfect. Okay, but there's close. There is close, meaning you both are understanding of each other, and like you can do it. So now that you know you can do it, I'm like, this is worth the investment of my time, energy, effort into this one person. Not only do I know I can just make myself fall in love, I don't even have to fall in love. Some people are like, I fall in love. The very saying of it makes no sense. I said this on the show once.
Yeah.
You should stand in love. You should
rise in love.
Yeah, rise or become in love, because you don't fall. Falling is a very an accidental thing. You can't accidentally fall in love. You have to do it.
Yeah, it's very intentional.
So I know how to make myself fall in love with a woman, because I did it. And I remember observing myself. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm looking at them. Deliberately looking for things I love about them
Yep.
instead of what I don't. That's all it is. It's just a combination of focus. Like, I remember I'd be with them, and I'm like, they're being pretty ugly right now, but I'll look at them like, man, I just love how they're doing this, though. And so I'm like, I know I could do that.
Yeah.
Right? So now the question is like, who am I going to do for? So this is like very, very high levels of self-certainty and confidence in a person, and faith. It's like life is whatever you make it. It's almost like you're a cook or a baker. You have every ingredient known to mankind in your kitchen, in your cabinets. It's not that you cannot bake or cook something. Now, some people have no belief. They haven't opened up the cabinets. They don't know what they have. They're ignorant. They don't know what's inside of them. They don't know. The moment they do, though, that's probably 97% of the world. They don't even know they're a cook yet. They doubt if they're a cook because they've never looked at anything. They've never tried anything. So they're sitting there in a kitchen with all ability and access to anything they can do, but they're just sitting there like overanalyzing everything and never doing it. So they never have practice or experience or confidence or results. They also are ignorant. They haven't checked every cabinet to see how many ingredients they have, that what they could do. So all they have is doubt. So in absence of knowledge, they have doubt. So they go, well, someone else comes in and be like, hey, why don't you bake a cake? Oh, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. But they didn't open the book to just see the ingredients and see, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
That is one level. When you get out of that bullshit, you get into a higher level of living, which is more so, I know I can do anything I want. The question is what? So now it's like you're going through a recipe book trying to find the right one. Oh yeah, I'd love to make that. And then what's after that? Here's where, like I said, poor thinking people will idolize these people. They'll look at them like, it's America, how'd you do it? They'll look at the person who goes, okay, I want to make that. What's after this? Nothing. You just go get the ingredients to do it. That's how it should feel, like any goal in your life. Any goal should feel like that. Oh yeah, sure, I can do it.
Yeah.
Just gotta do it now. But someone who hasn't even reached a point where they know they can do this, or know what they have, or have accepted the idea they can do anything, they believe in themselves, they will look at that person who does, look how effortlessly they go, let me just choose this and make it. They'll go, you must be from Jesus. Like, heaven sent you down. You were born that way, weren't you? Yeah, because they can't explain. That's why personal development is vital to your success in life, because at least personal development tries to teach you can do anything, just develop yourself. Does that make sense? So my point is, even with like the love thing, which is a very touchy subject, I know I can fall in love with anyone. And I know I can make them fall in love with me. It's a bold statement, eh?
Yeah.
But is it really that hard? Think about it. What is it? A combination of thinking of all the good things of the person and adjusting yourself a little bit so you can fit with them nicely? As long as you're willing to do those things, you'll make anyone fall in love with you. So it's like it's a different level of living now, where every day you wake up and any person you meet could be the one, and now you're just really, who do I try? And that's what dating is. You literally go and try. Now, some of you date for the wrong intention. You go out and you try to find someone to hopefully make you feel something. No, I actually date someone intentionally just to find out in 1 day or 2 dates or 3 days, can I see myself doing all of that work with them? Mm-hmm. That's what I do. And you know what? Like, none of the girls I've ever dated watching this, because this is out of a group or YouTube. I don't think they watch this. But I'll be honest. Like, I will go 1 date with someone, and like maybe I'm just attracted somehow. I'll go 1 date. 1 day I'm like, yeah, no. Like, it may be as simple as one thing, because I have enough experience now, or maturity, I could be like, yeah, I know that's not gonna, like, I know I can future base 5 to 10 years of how this will grow into a problem, and I can future base my ability and willingness to want to solve the problem with them and fix it and adjust it. I'm like, that's not worth it. That's how deep it goes. I'm like, would I marry this person? Nah. Would I bring them home to my family for dinner? Right? So I'll do that, and like, I'm not mean, I hang out with them and I still have a good time. Why? Because I had no expectation.
Yeah.
I'm not insecure. I'm like, I need them to. No, I'm just like, yeah, we had a good time. I pay for the dinner or whatever. I drop them, never talk to them again.
Yeah.
They never follow up. And if they do, they get the point. After 1 or 2 messages, I'm too busy to respond, it's done. My point is, that should be dating. The moment I think there's a chance, we date again.
Yeah.
Let's do it again and again. And I try to go in unbiasedly. Some of you start a business, a relationship, an idea or goal with all this biased approach. Like, you're trying to make the thing into what you want. Instead of being very hands-off and detached and just seeing what it turns into. It was deep what I just said. Even your business, you're like, I have to control how do you know the business might make you? You might not make it.
Yeah.
My business made me.
Yeah.
Made me into this person.
Yep.
A relationship, same way. You're trying to make the person off the bat, trying to force it to work. That's not the point of trying things. It's like, you're not being a scientist. A scientist would try something by the very act of, with a hypothesis that something's going to happen with it. Mm-hmm. Imagine they tried to make the chemicals work. It would defeat the purpose of what? Experimentation. Experimentation is to test it.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Nope, that didn't work. What's going to happen? Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that worked. But imagine you're like saying to them, like, no, it should have worked.
Yeah.
This chemical, vinegar and oil should have mixed. You're just like mixing it in, it's like separates. And this is how dumb, people live. They're like, mixing the vinegar and oil, hopefully if fucking gets together, you know? It's like, that's how stupid it looks when you try to make things happen in your life. You don't know.
Yeah.
So I literally go and I'm like, let me just see. And then I'll go with the flow. And I'll see, I'll pick this. I'm like shopping. I'm dating someone. Or I'm starting a new idea for a business. I'm like shopping.
Ooh, I like this personality. I don't know if I like this trait. Oh, okay.
You got this in blue? You got this one in blue? You know, like, you try stuff.
Do you have this one in compassion?
Yeah.
I don't want that arrogance. I'll take the confidence.
So you go through it, and then the moment, and here's the thing, this is only we inside of ourselves can make this decision. The moment we believe now, this is worth it, we go all in.
Yep.
All in. Now the dumbest thing to do is to go all in without this diagnosis or experimentation. The other dumbest thing to do is to stay with someone you know is worth it and keep them in experimentation phase for years. This is the people that are together and never get married. It means you're insecure inside, you don't know what you want, or you still don't believe the right things.
Yeah.
You're the problem, not them.
Yeah.
So for all the ladies who are with a boyfriend who hasn't married them yet, just leave. Like, serious,
You're
bro.
on the market.
You're in the same store for the last 5 years, hoping one day the salesperson will come up and ask you what you want. Just get the fuck out and go to a different store. It's not that easy. I've been here for 5 years. I have my own little corner there. I've been sleeping here. Well, great. Then die there. Or move on. Like, you're acting like there's an option in between. There's no middle store.
Absolutely.
Like, and here's my response. I can immediately hear something, that's a little cold, that's a little... Listen. I didn't say to not.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what is what you need to do.
Absolutely.
No one said it's easy. But that doesn't make it untrue.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, I go, how do I get into shape? Okay, go to the gym 3 times a week, eat like this, be disciplined, go for 1 hour. Oh, that sounds really hard. Doesn't mean it's not true. So just because it doesn't sound good doesn't mean it's something you disregard now. No, there's another way. No, it's not. No, there isn't. I say, get from here to China. You got to take a plane. Oh, I hate planes. I don't want to fly. There's a risk. Okay, try to drive there. You're stupid, no?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how people are in relationships they shouldn't be in. They try to drive to China.
Yep.
And then their whole life, they don't get there because they're trying to do something that's virtually impossible.
Absolutely. In relationships, whether it's a French, and this is, I'm just going to add my 2 cents because we are way over, but we'll wrap up in 3.
You care?
We're rocking. But, you know, in relationships, whether it's like personal, family, whatever, right? The environment that is created by the relationship is 100% in your control. Yeah. And the reality that you live in as a result of creating that environment is also 100% in your control. You have limitless possibilities of realities that you could be experiencing. You just need to consent to whether that is the reality you desire or not. You can be in a relationship with somebody where you know they're not fulfilling needs, let's say A to C, but from D, E, F, G to Z, they got it. And I'm committing to this relationship because I'm looking at the D to Z and not necessarily A to C. That part doesn't matter as much to me, right? And you acknowledge that I can live this life where I can have all of these things and I still love him, I still love the experience, etc. But this is the reality that I'm consenting to based on what I want, right? And it's funny because you'll start to realize that when you're in relationships sometimes and you're realizing that, you know, maybe this isn't the reality that I want. And it's 4 or 5 years deep and you're like, man, I don't have a ring yet. What's happening? What's the situation look like?
Now they're trying to force the chemicals.
And now you're trying to, you know, force it.
Trying to make a burger out of a cake.
And now and then all of a sudden you start to compromise more. All of a sudden you start to, you know,
you lose yourself.
Limit your boundary, etc., etc., etc. And you're looking at yourself, and this is a personal moment. You're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I could continue to live this life. I could go down this trajectory, I can be with this partner, and this is what my life is going to look like. And I could accept that, sure. Or I could leave, and I could go and find the relationship that serves me more for the purpose that I'm going towards.
But Jeanette, what if I don't find anything better?
So what?
Faith.
But Jeanette, what do I do with the 5 years I already invested in?
What, you can actually, what if 5 years no, I'm just joking. But no, it is what it is. You love them, maybe. You could still love them, and you don't need to be with them if they're not going to serve you, if they're not going to serve your future.
Jenna, what if it's scary?
Oh, it's scary.
What if it gets worse after?
It might. It's definitely scary. It might get worse. It might be lonely. But what do you want? Are you going to continue?
But Jeanette, what if I want them?
You can want them and they don't want you. You can want.
But then what?
Then move on. It sounds like tough love, but it's like actually true. It is genuinely true. You have to ask yourself, and this is a part of the conversation, right? If you have the belief that you can go and be in love with anybody, that you can create an amazing life no matter who you decide to be with, but it breaks down to what you genuinely need or want out of the relationship, what you know is going to, benefit you, what you know your life is going to look like 10 to 20 years from now, and it's going to be purposeful, powerful, everything that you want it to be. You have to be willing to accept that doesn't always look the way you want it to look.
What do you think is the cause of someone staying somewhere staying with someone that is not working out, but they don't leave? What do you think is the cause of someone staying in a bad relationship?
Definitely like lack of self-esteem.
Yeah.
Self-worth.
Insecurities.
Lack of self-esteem.
What is a belief
self-worth,
someone has to believe in to stay in a shitty relationship?
that my life would be worse without them in it.
I'm gonna do another version of it. I can't find someone better.
Yeah.
I think deeper it's that.
It is that.
Because finding someone better would mean your life would be worse.
Yeah.
It's like a byproduct.
Yeah.
Deepest part of it, you gotta really ask yourself. You're in a relationship, you don't like it. You go, do I genuinely think I can find someone better? Now here's the problem. The amount of thousands of hours of coaching I've done around this topic.
Yeah.
You either are gonna say, I know I can, or you're gonna say, I know I can't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
What are you gonna say?
If you say you know you can't, now we know the problem.
Sure.
You fix that.
Yeah.
Because then the moment you grow your self-confidence,
Yeah.
you'll realize I don't even like this person anymore. I don't even want to be around them. Screw it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very easy to move on, no matter how much time you spend. What if you say I know I can?
Yeah.
First of all, I would say you're lying. That's my intuition. I'm like, yeah, there's no way. It's almost always because you don't have the self-confidence to do better.
Yeah.
Okay, you think it's,
Yeah.
But what are you going to say about this one? It's like, I know I can find someone better, but what would you say to this?
I was going to say, actually, I know I can find. It's really only two options for me.
Yeah, what is it? What is it?
For me, from my own experience, it was I know I can find someone better, and I'm willing to be alone if I don't.
No, that's terrible.
How?
No, you're not supposed to be alone in life.
But it's not that I. What
Jeanette,
do you
coaching
mean?
moment. Coaching
What do
moment
you
for
mean?
Jeanette. It's always past an hour and a
I
half
know.
where I get to coach her. Well, remember that one where me and her got in a tussle? Hold on. So
We did get in a tussle.
you're saying I'm willing to be alone for the rest of my life if I don't?
I'm willing to not be in. There's a very different. Like
Don't
I'm
justify
not.
it. Which one is it? I know I can't. Or sorry, I know I can find
I know I
someone better,
can.
yeah.
And if I don't find anybody who fits what I want to
Yeah.
live the life that I
Yeah.
want, then I'll create it despite them. I'll create it despite it.
I
I will
disagree.
create my life despite. The
I don't think anyone
circumstance.
can do that.
I do.
Okay,
I do.
well, listen, I'm not saying no one's done that, but I'm going to tell you what those people do.
Go ahead. Yeah.
They go and adopt children. How sad.
What's wrong with adopting children?
No, nothing with adopting children, but using them as a replacement for what they truly want. That is sad.
Okay.
Those children are going to grow up messed up.
Sure.
Very selfish. You don't know how many times I met someone. Look, if you've done this, don't get offended. Understand what I'm saying. How many times I met someone, they're at their age, women specifically, at their age, they're too late now to start a family. They're like, I want. They artificially want to have the children. Because your natural desire as a woman is to have children, right? They couldn't figure out the love thing. Something's wrong with what they're doing then.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, there's no plan B in this. You either have children or you don't. Like, you either find love and you do it properly or you don't. I'm saying you create it or you don't. So that's not an option I would ever encourage.
Interesting.
It's
I've-
totally-
I
Clearly she's
I'll try
made up
it
her mind
on.
on this, eh?
I'll try it on.
Clearly you've thought about that.
I have a very specific plan.
But Jay, let me ask you a question. Honestly.
for what my life is gonna
Honestly,
look like.
though, I love you a lot and I care about you. I want to, there's no, I can't control your decision, nor
Of
do I
course.
think, if you're happy with them, you're happy with them. At the end of the day, if that person feels good, it doesn't really matter what I'm saying.
Sure, sure.
But my argument is in deep down inside they're not feeling good. That's my argument. Deep down inside they don't. They're justifying it so professionally that they don't feel anymore. But that's no different than numbing pain that you don't know how to solve.
So do you?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you considered that option of like replacing? So you don't find a man, but you will have a child. You'll find a different way without love and man relationship.
Not necessarily.
So then what do you? what are you saying right now?
Well, I've had this conversation with people. I plan on being a foster parent by the time I'm 30, regardless.
Right. So, but that has nothing to do with one of your own family.
Yes, but because I'm also not necessarily 100% on having my own children. Like I'm not really there.
Now there could be another. By the way,
I
just thought of this as you said. There could be another complication to you not being able to have children. I'm not talking about that either.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking specifically. There's nothing wrong with you having children. You can do it.
Yeah.
But you just can't figure out a relationship with men.
Sure. Yeah.
Or with a woman, man as well. No different.
Yeah. But that's a different reality.
What I'm saying. So you're saying either I can do something better, or I'll do it without. Okay. Doing it without them is one of the most fundamental human flaws.
So you think that people need to have a partner?
Okay, well, why don't I put you in quarantine like you went into in your bedroom with no one around for 14 days? Let me know if you survive.
Listen, I'm not saying.
Well, hold on. A light level
Yeah.
of connection with humans
Yeah.
is friendship, family, right?
Sure.
What is the highest level? Love.
Sure.
You can only get that from, in a monogamous world, one person.
Sure.
You can't even do that. There's only one place for each of these people. Love and kids. You can't replace that. Your own kids is different than foster kids. You can make yourself, for sure. Chemically, they don't have your oxytocin in them.
Of course.
There were so many things against the human nature.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm hearing that.
These are all just supplements
Sure.
to the actual thing you would want. So it's like in a perfect... Watch this. This is how you know it. I give you an option. You take a pill, no matter what.
Uh-huh.
You have foster children and you're alone.
Okay.
Or you fall in love with the man and have your own kids. Which one would you take? You have to choose one. Which one would you? Which one do you want? Try to answer the question without bringing your past experiences in.
I'm not bringing.
What are you doing then? What the hell are you thinking about?
I'm categorizing.
Make
You did not entail
What?
what that relationship.
I just said you
Make
fall
the
in
option
love
better.
exactly the way you want with a man and have children versus you don't fall in love with a man and you have your own foster kids. Which one would you want? Not which one do you think is more doable, easier. Which one do you want?
This is your perfect man.
Yeah, like you're happy.
Yeah.
You're happy either way, eh? Or which
I'm
circumstance?
happy
you want?
either way.
Yeah, but which
I'm
circumstance do you
absolutely
want? You're happy
happy
either
either
way.
way.
Which circumstance do you want? Which one do you prefer? Kids and a man. Foster kids and no man. Tell me. You're happy anyways. Don't get me start selling relationship programs. I will dominate the market.
This is why I'm not a relationship coach, guys. Ask anybody. I'll always say relationship.
Tell me
I don't
which
know.
one you prefer. You have any comments on this, by the way? I'm sure.
Yeah, Veronica is saying. Well, Lauren said.
I have some. I'm sure there's controversy here. Like
Lauren said you got to remember that person is just a person earlier, and then Veronica says, "I get what you were saying. You're saying you're okay being by yourself, and that is better than being with someone who is not good for you."
First of all, I agree with that.
That's it, Veronica.
I agree with that. If that's how light you're going, by the way, that just means bringing back self-love and self-belief in yourself.
Absolutely.
But not as a form of life. It is as a supplement to confidence until you figure it out. That's what I'm trying to say.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm still.
My question is.
of both
Okay.
relationships.
Well, I'm actually curious right now. I'm at this point. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I just want to learn now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what do you see in foster children and the option B that you don't see in A, and what do you see in A that you don't see in B? I'm just curious how you're confused.
I'm not confused.
Okay, so which one is it, preference-wise?
Preference.
You see this in real time, eh? It's either ego not willing to accept.
It's ego. My head is like.
Because if she has to say what
my
she's
head
gonna
is like-
say, I'll make you right.
My head is literally like I'm battling my ego right now, but not based on what you're saying.
I'm gonna get
Based
so
on-
deep.
Based on the belief that, and this is me and my personal life, but it's. I'm really balancing. I know I'm whole and I have everything that I need by myself. And if I create a wonderful environment for foster children, I'm gonna be great. Or I can, have love, be full and whole by myself, have a partner and a teammate to raise children. That's really the only two.
Okay.
That's really the only.
If you
two
ever
distinctions
stuck
for
like
me.
this, do what I'm about to do with her.
What?
I'm gonna give you a way out. These guys don't know how to diagnose a situation, make a decision. This is indecisiveness. Watch this. Which one are you justifying? Very deep. Out of A and B, which one do you have to... That you're battling. You're saying battling, right? Which means there's force against resistance. Which one's the
And
resistance?
it's the partner. It's the partner.
Are you justifying why you would want that, or are you justifying why you would want children? Foster.
I'm justifying why I would want a partner.
Okay, so what we're saying here is that you've already said, I want no partner in foster children.
Yeah, that's my plan.
But when you're trying to balance the other option... That's great. Thank you, Upti. What time? What time?
2:30.
Okay, when do you have to leave?
2.
Yeah, you're fine. When you have to put the other one on the plate, you have to justify why it's even an option. Meaning you have to make sense of why you would want that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying you have to make sense of why you would want love and children of your own.
Yeah, technically. One second.
Problem, bro.
Cindy says you're trying to compare the basic human need to procreate against an unfair option. And I'm not, like,
But hold on, even if you're right, which I do believe you're right, I'm obviously positioning this biasly, but she still chose against it.
Yeah.
She's still justifying the basic. So now my question is, how bad did the last guy mess you up?
Oh, not bad.
How bad that you have literally abandoned your natural desire for procreation? That's insane.
It's not, though.
So then, how is it that
Not all
I'm
women,
actually
not,
at this point? I'm
not,
an observer. I'm
not
learning
all
from you.
Not all women actually want to procreate.
I
so.
understand. I'm not saying that I have no place to say anything about this.
Absolutely.
My curiosity is
Yeah.
the desire for love, romance, and partnership with children of your own. Like, and
I can
maybe.
have-
By the way, I'm not saying it's the right way of living. It's just
Yeah.
probably conditioning anyways. But I'm saying that's like the natural thing. Yeah.
Well, I
that
can have love and romance.
Hold on. How is that what you're justifying? But you're like, the right thing to do is just have my own foster children. This is what's happening in your brain. You're battling against the one that doesn't make sense. You're trying to find why it makes sense.
Yeah. I do make that. I do actually justify that one more than me doing what I want to do and bringing foster children. I absolutely. Because I'm legitimately, and this has been a long time coming, but I'm legitimately like, if I find a partner, I find the partner.
So you give it up.
But I don't necessarily need
But
them.
you gave up.
I don't think I gave up.
But if you haven't given up, you'd be justifying fostering.
What makes you think that?
It's not what makes me think it is the truth. If you haven't given up on the idea of having your own family with love and
I haven't.
what you tried initially that didn't work, and that's why we're here, right?
Sure.
Well, isn't it?
No.
Okay, so what is it then? Is there something else? Another variable? I'm basing off my assumption of how long I've known you and what you've done.
Sure, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is there something else other than previous relationship? Because, by the way,
would lead. What do you mean?
to generalize, most people,
Yeah.
most people will take bad past experiences with someone and then make up conclusions of how to make the future one.
Absolutely.
Either not having it or having it differently.
Yeah.
I've done this. I've been a victim of this. I'm saying
yeah,
it's the wrong way to do it
yeah,
because
yeah.
you're allowing the bad experience to define.
Absolutely.
So
no.
That wasn't okay. So then I'm totally ignorant here. Tell me, what is then the cause to the effect of your desire for wanting foster, not wanting? Like wanting that more. Like what is unless it's super personal, we don't have to get to it. I'm trying to keep this like more strategic thinking
Sure.
as opposed to personal. I'm not trying to make it personal.
Yeah.
The
answer is personal.
Okay, great. So never mind that. okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's go back to to end this off properly because
Sure.
I want a lesson to come from this. Assuming it's not a personal thing that's specific to you.
Yeah.
And it was generally because of a bad experience.
Sure.
Would this be different? Would you have answered differently if it was just because of a bad experience?
Yes, because
that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I thought.
Because Jeanette 2 years ago, 100% was saying, no partner, no body. I'm doing this by myself. And then as time progressed,
Which, by the way, is
And
probably a healthy way of coming out of a bad one.
absolutely, and then learning more about myself and what I wanted my future to look like, brought me to the other side. Now, where this entire argument is about, where it's no matter what happens,
Yeah.
I'm creating this life for me.
That is very deep.
If a
That's
partner
good.
comes into my life and they enhance it and I've got a teammate, awesome. But if it doesn't happen, I've got a plan that I'm playing out no matter what.
Okay, I know what I did wrong here. I added children. Take out children.
You added procreation.
Yeah, I did, which
you
is
added,
unfair, right?
You added having
Yes.
my own biological
and I'll
children
backtrack,
to
and I'll take responsibility with respect. I didn't mean to make it personal.
it's
More
okay.
so.
You have pictures to take.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So I just want to end it off. I'm not end off half-assed. Don't worry. Some people, it's on the loop right. They're on the edge with us. We got to finish taking children out.
Yeah.
It's just I'm willing to be alone and happy, and I'm willing to. But I want love and I'm happy. And those options, what would you have done?
Alone and happy.
Okay, so then we have an issue. We're gonna have to talk later. Because if you don't add kids into this, and you genuinely chosen, and look, some people watching, listen, the only people that would be offended at this conversation is the women or men who have chosen that.
Yeah.
Please see my heart. I know deep down
I'm not
inside
offended.
all of us.
We're playing.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've been the coach for 5 years.
Absolutely. Maybe.
I know people take this shit so wrong. Maybe one of the reasons why I'm not in the field of personal transformation because it's so
Sure.
touchy and sensitive. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna listen. All I'm saying is I study the human. Okay, we all our basic, most powerful emotions, love. So I'm not saying it can't just, it's not just romance. I'm saying like love for people, sure. But I'm saying one very unique, irreplaceable aspect of love is that.
Absolutely.
So to let go of it, something has to have terribly happen, or there just must be a misdiagnosed belief about it. So that's misdiagnosed belief, meaning you think something that's totally, it's a false belief against it, and you're like, oh, if that's not true, then I can't have it. Anyways, you get my point?
Sure.
So if you take kids out, and so that means you got to work on you, I'm not even kidding, because that is not healthy.
That's your belief.
But I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it on the cliff. It's not healthy to want to be alone for no other reason than you want to be alone versus being, like, finding harmony with somebody. That does not mean that it's an option where you're not in harmony with yourself. Imagine you're in harmony with yourself anyways.
I am.
Saying that you're being with someone won't cost you the harmony.
It won't.
Saying it won't cost you stress. I don't see, and maybe the next show we'll talk about this, I don't see why someone would deliberately want to be alone in harmony and not be in harmony with someone. I just don't see it. That's going against fundamental human nature. So, in the next episode, can we talk? Can we make this a question? I actually want to see what you think.
Episode,
We'll talk
let's
about
talk
it. Let's
about...
wrap it up. Upton's having an anxiety attack. Let's wrap it up.
Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Is there any other comments we're going to come out with?
No, that's all.
So, we went, there's always Clear Talk After Dark or something.
Clear Talk After Dark.
Clear Talk After Clear Talk. It's not business related, just philosophy.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we go live or post up. If you're in a high-ticket coaching community, let us know down below if I pissed you off. Or if you want to start another Facebook group with Jay as the leader of it to start a riot against me. I love you. My intentions are always good. I'm genuinely curious. So anyways, I hope it was interesting to think about. And hoping that you love this as well. Drop some comments down below what you guys thought. And if you want your questions answered live on the show, make sure you go to AskArmin.com.
In the universe.
And we'll see you guys next week on Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Love you so much. Go on and make the rest of your week the best of your week.